The uterus, the oviducts, the ovaries, and the vagina. Okay? And so her ovaries, the ovaries look like little tiny beans, kind of. So this is one ovary. And then on the other side is her other ovary. Okay, so it looks like a little bean. See how each ovary is like surrounded by like a flap of tissue? That flap of tissue, so here it is on this side, that flap of tissue is the oviduct. Okay? Humans, we only have one baby usually. Sometimes we have more than that, but usually we just have one. So in humans, the uterus is like one big sac, kind of like a pear-shaped sac. But cats have lots of babies. And so they have their babies in two tubes. So their uterus is shaped like a Y. And so it has horns. So this is one uterine horn. This is her left uterine horn. And then this is her right uterine horn. Okay, so those are the two sides of her uterus. So here's the other side of her uterus. She does not have two uteruses. She has one uterus, but it has two sides. Okay, because their uterus is Y-shaped. So here's the left side and here's the right side of her uterus. Okay? Now we need to do some cutting. So we don't want to hurt our bladder. Our urinary bladder, I should say. But we do want to get rid of this fat. Okay, so
Being very stubborn.
So all of this fat can kind of go. Right, so here's my urinary bladder. And so the little tube at the base of the urinary bladder must be the urethra. Okay. And so if I pull the urinary bladder forward, you can see the Y of the uterus, right? You can see where it splits. And so we want to actually get in there and look at all of this stuff. So we're going to crack her pelvis open.
Hardcore cesarean.
Cesarean would be up here. This is cutting through the front of her pelvis. Oh, and she's got a great pubic symphysis that just broke right in half. That's fabulous. So we got bone snips. That's what these are.
Oh.
Dang.
Oh, man.
That we can use to.
Cuticle cut.
That we can use if I can get a hold of her pelvis. That we can use to cut through her pubic symphysis. I think I'm going to use scissors just because I can't grab that.
Just like snapped her.
Oh. And she snapped well, too. Okay, so I just cracked her open. All right. So
Wow.
here's her. So this is her urinary bladder, right? And here's her urethra. Okay, and you can, if you want to clean out, you can follow it all the way down to the external urethral opening. All right. And then underneath, hold on a second. Let me just kind of get this cleaned up a little bit so I can kind of pull it out of the way. So I'm going to pull her urinary bladder and urethra out of the way. Here is the bottom of the, here's the bottom part of the uterus because it's Y-shaped, right? And then everything else from about here down is the vagina.
After the Y.
Everything kind of after about here.
So wait, that expands to the size of a balloon? A million
What?
balloons?
This?
No,
The vagina or the uterus?
the uterus.
The uterus,
So small.
because she's never been pregnant. So when she's pregnant, the babies, she'll stack the babies up along like this
Like half and
in the
half.
tubes. So yeah, there's usually, sometimes if they only have one kitten, it's only one side. But, you know, they fill them up.
So
Same
the
thing.
baby will grow in there.
Inside here.
And the placentas would go.
Yeah. It expands a lot. Your uterus is only the size of a small pear.
And then
But it expands big enough to hold one of our babies,
Freaking
which is as big as a
basketball.
watermelon.
are our
right?
ovaries the size
So-
of a grain of sand too?
No, our ovaries are about the size of an almond.
An almond?
An almond. So the uterus in an unpregnant woman, an unpregnant female, the uterus is very small. It doesn't need to stretch until you get pregnant. So it's very small. Because it's not doing anything right now. It would be a waste of space if it was all big. Okay? Because there's other stuff going on, right? So, anyway. So there's that, okay? Since we're just about out of time, I'm gonna save the male reproductive system for Monday. So we'll do that, okay?